just happened. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. The kids all wish away the month 'cause they want presents in sight. This year had me so mad. I've been bad, got coal that is sitting under my tree. I think that my Christmas has died. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song.
Conor McGregor news, looking ahead to UFC 310, and AJ reviews Kendrick Lamar.
Let's go!
Whoops, I got excited there. I pressed the wrong button. That's on me. Sorry, guys. Sorry, AJ. I'm screwing up already.
We're on.
Whoops.
Are we live?
We're on. Yeah, of course. How are you?
What's up, homie?
Que pasa?
Happy Thanksgiving, man, to our U.S. friends. Happy Thanksgiving, bud.
Happy Thanksgiving to all our American viewers. God bless America.
God bless America. You know that my great-grandfather was American, by the way? I bet you didn't know that, eh?
I did not know that.
Yes, sir. That's why I celebrate American Thanksgiving. He was the only guy in Italy that could speak English at the time. It was a long story, but That's my great grandfather.
Interesting.
God bless America, man.
My great
I don't know about-
grandfather was, I don't know.
That was
I'm not
AJ
even sure.
Senior.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. Some of them, I mean, I guess one of my great grandfathers was French, from France, AJ.
Ooh, excuse moi.
He was a soldier.
Was he?
I believe so.
The French
Yeah.
Foreign Legion, man?
I don't know. Something in Vietnam, because my great grandmother was Vietnamese, so you do the math.
Damn. So I guess I know what happened there.
Mm-hmm. They had my
Full Metal
grandfather.
Jacket.
They had my grandfather is what happened there, AJ.
Did they? Damn.
Yeah. Vietnam. Shout out to
Good
Vietnam.
morning, Good morning, Vietnam, man. Remember
That's
with
right.
what's his name? Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams, man. What a great actor that guy was.
Bet you didn't know it was a
Great
little
comedian.
bit
What?
Vietnamese, AJ. Bet you didn't know that.
Who was Vietnamese?
Me, a little bit.
Yeah, of course. You said it so many times. How can I always make jokes about you? You're like so hairless.
All right, take it easy. We are going to be
It's either the
treading
Jewish
lightly
side or
here
it's the
tonight,
Vietnamese
AJ.
side.
You got to take it easy already here, AJ, because, you know, we got some tough stuff to talk about, and I don't want to run into any
Ruin it.
issues here tonight.
Let's get banned before we start. Where's Freddie, by the way? Back at the strip joints in Trois-Rivières? Christmas special. 2 pour 1 with a free buffet. You know what I'm
So-
talking about.
I don't know where Fred is, actually. I don't know exactly where I think it's like a Christmas party that he's at. He may be out
Oh.
partying somewhere.
Yeah.
Is this week the Christmas party that he's at? I know he told us.
Yes, it is. It is.
Is it this week?
It's this week. It's actually a 2-day party.
Yeah. He's at a 2-day
And you-
party.
That's crazy, man.
Who has
Well, it's not
2-day
him.
parties in the
It's
middle of
his
the
wife.
week with kids? Him and his
Well,
wife.
don't you want to go work for that company? Think
I
about
don't
it.
understand how that works. It's unbelievable. What a deal.
Man, hire me. I think it's great, man. But I think he's somewhere like near Trois-Rivières. I wasn't joking about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
2 days, man. He could be having a P. Diddy party over there. We have no clue. You know how the French, they party, man.
Take it easy.
Well, they do, but you know that and I know that.
All right. You really are. You're like wide open here tonight, AJ. You got to chill, man.
Well,
What's going on?
Listen, man. You told me to behave, so I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm trying
are
to
you
hold
though?
back my
Because you're
words.
like really
I
off
am.
the wall, right? Like we're
Listen,
3
no, man,
minutes
it's-
in, and you've said many inflammatory things already.
All true, by the way. Listen, I'm going to say something. Are we going to get on the Kendrick Lamar thing?
I would
Because
love to.
Maybe that's why I'm all hyped, because that was some pretty good shit. I was kind of impressed. I just don't know the title of that the second one where he has like, you know, that car inside the room and everybody's like jamming away.
Squabble up.
Yeah, that's it.
Squabble up.
What?
The
Squabble,
Squabble
I
Up
can't even say
video
it.
I sent you. I sent AJ some new Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar dropped a surprise album last week. GNX. It is fantastic. I've been listening to it nonstop. I love it. And I wondered what AJ might think about it, because I know Kendrick, you know, he's a big name. He's a big artist. He had the whole thing with Drake. There's still stuff going on with Drake. And he's
Oof,
going to be
big time.
performing at the Super Bowl at the halftime show as a headline act in like 3 months. And I know AJ always has strong opinions about the Super Bowl halftime show, right? Oops, what happened? That was probably
What
not
happened?
me. Right, you always have strong opinions about the Super Bowl halftime show, AJ. Last year you had
Oh,
strong
yeah, big
opinions
time.
about Usher. The year before that, I'm sure you had strong opinions about, was it Dr. Dre and Eminem before that, or was it somebody else between Usher
Who was
and
that
Dre and
Rihanna
Eminem?
girl there? What was her name?
Was it Rihanna?
Oh yeah, Rihanna. I think it was Rihanna. She had like
I don't
like-
remember. You always have opinions about the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yep.
And, you know, I wonder how you're going to receive Kendrick Lamar. So I'm kind of getting you prepped. I'm getting you ready early so you know what to expect. So maybe you're not as harsh on him, because I know Kendrick Lamar's music, and I wonder how he'll be received by the, international audience that watches the Super Bowl, and guys like you specifically who are not into Kendrick music, who are not really familiar with Kendrick Lamar. Like, I wonder how you might receive it, because you're not always so down with that type of stuff, right, AJ? You're not a hip-hop guy.
No, but I like old school rap and that kind of stuff. And that's where I'm getting at. What was kind of interesting, I forgot the name again, Chewbacca or something like that. What was it? What's the name of the song? The one I like there.
Squabble Up.
Yeah, Squabble Up, man. So Squabble Up, I'm going to be straight up.
You know
here.
what that means, right?
AJ, am I supposed to?
A squabble is a fight. Squabble up.
Yeah, squabble.
Squabble
Okay.
up.
Well, I know Danny Brook. I mean, that's what I chose that name.
Yeah, but that's
It was like an
basically,
old-
he's saying, knuckle up. It's like, squabble
Is
up.
that like
Let's go.
new school like talk? I don't know, man.
I don't know. I think it might be
Squabble.
West Coast talk. I'm not sure. But I understand
just learned
exactly
something
what he
new.
meant. So you heard the song, you didn't really understand just that?
No, and that's
that
what I'm getting
didn't-
at. So you sent me that.
It's
You're like, this is your homework and whatnot. And I was like, here we go. Do I gotta have to be subjected to this shit? So I'm like, I turn it on. So I'm listening it with my mom, not too far away, and an Italian mom from Naples, man. But as I was listening to it, I'm like, shit, man, this is actually pretty good. And for me, for AJ to say that, like, I'm saying, I was like, man, the beat is good. His lyrics are like old school. I'm like, I can actually like get into this, because if you ask me, man, I thought it was like really like a blowback to like the 80s, man. It was really like old school rap in a sense. Like, it was really interesting. So I like the way he was presenting it. I really like the video too. It probably didn't cost that much to shoot that video. It was in one room with a lot of like weird people, but it was pretty cool. From like, babies next to a bouncing car to like little people and naked girls like strapped up against the wall. I thought it was cool, man. But the song itself, I was impressed. I liked it. And I'm probably going to listen to it again because it was that good. And even the other song was pretty hard, man. That was like hard school rap. And it was like pretty deep. It was like, I was trying to listen to the lyrics.
Whacked Out Murals is what I sent you to. I sent you Whacked Out Murals, the opening track on the album, which I really
that wasn't
like. It is.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, it is
That wasn't
hard. I
bad.
really like that one.
Yeah, it's hard, man. Like, I was trying to listen to the lyrics and I was like, oof, this is like, there's some fight going on here. I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you it was pretty good. I like the squagaby or whatever you call it again. I thought that was like squabble up, man. That to me was like, man, I can actually say Dave sent me something pretty good. So I had to look and see, like, is this now or is this like old school? And I was like,
Brand
wow,
new.
that's now? That's his new album? And then I looked
Brand
into
new.
it further. I'm like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, which is kind of interesting, if AJ's saying he likes it, I was kind of surprised when I saw Drake like putting out comments that, Kendrick is like buying bots and like, the record companies are pushing like the record, like it's all bullshit and it's not true. They're just trying to get hits. I was like, man, look, man, I'll be honest. I listened to it. I'm not like immersed like Dave is. I'm like old school. Like, you'll see me wearing Guns N' Roses and that kind of shit, AC/DC. But I was like, man, this is good. So I don't think there's bots. I know, Drake, has become like,
I think there's bots.
You think so? I think this is just a damn good song. I think it's a really good song. And I think I wasn't looking forward to the Super Bowl when you said Kendrick Lamar, and I always think of some country singer. But then I thought I heard this song and I'm like, damn, this guy could actually make a pretty good Super Bowl, concert. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the record or that song, the two songs, in fact, were really good. And whatever Drake says, listen, Drake, man, I know you're from the 6. Antoinette used to love you. Now she beefs you. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Antoinette. It's her birthday today. We got to give a shout out to Antoinette. And I'm sure Antoinette heard the song too, but I'll tell you something, man. Drake is wrong on this. This guy is good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really fault Drake for being mad at Kendrick given the things that Kendrick said about him on hit records. I mean, Kendrick said some pretty mean stuff, AJ. I don't know if you...
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? You actually don't know what Kendrick said about him? Go read the lyrics
No,
to...
what did he say?
I mean, he called him a pedophile.
On that song there? Did he?
No. Yeah,
Damn.
on another song, like the Not Like Us song, yeah, he was, saying that Drake was going to get arrested for this stuff. Like, it was,
Oh, I remember hearing something about that like
yeah,
a while
yeah,
back
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
That
So
Drake
you
was
can't really
caught with
fault
some
Drake for
young
being a
girl.
little
Yeah.
upset with Kendrick. I kind of get it. If somebody was saying that about me, I'd be like, hey, man, take it easy.
But it's a
Unless
good
it
song,
were
Drake.
true. If it were true, I'd be like, uh-oh, And with Drake, I don't know. Kendrick said it, so a lot of people believe it, and that's kind of difficult, right? But Drake is not suing Kendrick for that. He's suing the record company for pushing the song more than other songs. And I think, there was an element of, I think there is some of that going on. I think that the record companies are playing games with the streaming services. I've noticed some things
You think
happening.
so?
I've noticed some things
What?
happening that I thought were weird. Like, so you could look up, like a lot of people are showing examples, like you look up Tupac and there'll be like 3 Tupac songs, like you search, right? In, Spotify or whatever, and you go search Tupac and it'll show 3 Tupac songs and then Not Like Us. And you'll be like, well, what's this you're doing here? Why is this being recommended when I'm searching for Tupac? You have like Biggie, whatever, 3 Biggie songs and then Not Like Us. And it's like, well, this is a Kendrick song. Like, you search Drake and it'd be like 3 Drake songs and then Not Like Us. You'd be like, well, that doesn't really add up. So that, I think, is happening. I think the companies push certain artists and, who knows how
But
legal
why?
that is or however that works. I don't know. I think we're going to find out over the next few months with the lawsuit and everything. But I notice, like, when you go and listen to a song, like you search for some random, like, rap song, right? You play it. It'll then play a bunch of other songs like that song with different artists, sometimes the same. Like, say I'll look for a Drake song, right? I'll play a Drake song. Then after the Drake song, I'll get J. Cole, I'll get Kendrick, I'll get Drake again, I might get Lil Wayne, I might get this rapper, that rapper, right? You get, like, in the playlist that they randomly supposedly generate for you, there's a bunch of different songs that just come up. I noticed recently, over the past few months, that when I would start one of these playlists with Kanye West, he would never come up again. And I was like thinking I was crazy, so I kept testing it. I kept doing it. And you would start with Kanye, you would get Drake, you would get Kendrick, you would get, all sorts of rappers, Jay-Z, whoever. Kanye would never come back up. They don't recommend Kanye back up in the rotation. The only way to get a Kanye playlist was to just play Kanye on shuffle. Now, that to me makes sense given Kanye's stance with the record labels and with, American business in general right now, that they would kind of be pushing him to the side. And I have noticed that when I start a playlist with a Kanye song, I don't get another one after. I don't get more Kanye, which is weird. Because when you start a playlist with Drake, you get more Drake. When you start one with Kendrick, you get more Kendrick. What's that about? What is that? That's called shadow banning, right? I think they've shadow banned Kanye from the streaming services because of what he said and done.
Poor Kanye, man.
I mean, it is what it is. But it's something that I've definitely noticed as a person that listens to that music and is very much listening to it all the time on streaming services. I go, yo, what the hell? How come the Kanye music? Like, I want to hear more Kanye with other songs, some Jay-Z, some Kanye, some Kendrick, and then there's no more Kanye. It's really weird, man. It's weird. And, like, I'm not crazy. I've tested it many times. It's happening. So if they're doing that with Kanye West, which I haven't heard anybody else talk about, I wonder, I'm sure somebody else is noticing this. Maybe they don't have a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But, like, it's weird, man. So they're playing games for sure. So they're kind of only giving you certain things. They're kind of limiting your choice, I don't like it. I don't like it. And the artists also, they get money supposedly based off the number of plays that they get. And if the record companies are colluding with the streaming services to push certain artists more than others, well, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like, say I'm the record company, AJ, and you have a song. And I pay you based on how many times that song is streamed on Spotify or whatever, right?
Ooh, it's going to be good.
But then I tell Spotify, well, actually, I want you to play all these other songs before AJ's song. Don't play AJ's song too much.
What?
If somebody searches for it specifically, play it. But don't play it in a list with other songs that would be like AJ's song, in AJ's genre of music. Don't ever do that. So I'm limiting your earning capabilities for whatever reason. And I think that might be happening. That appears to be something that's possible, and maybe Drake is trying to expose that. Strange business, but I like that you're so into it, AJ. I really enjoy how much you're enjoying Kendrick and how into this whole, Drake versus Universal Music Group saga that you're into. I had no idea when I sent you those 2 Kendrick songs that A, you would listen to them, or B, you would come with other information that I didn't think that you would be aware of. It's very good, AJ. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, but to be honest, like when you sent me this and you're like, it's going to be part of the show, I'm like, eesh. I didn't have high expectations. I'm like, here we go, man. It's going to be something. He's going to quiz me on it and this and that. But then I listened to it and I'm like, man, this is actually pretty good. I was surprised myself. I listened to the whole thing. Usually I would probably like listen to 30 seconds and then be like, this is not my shit. There's no Axl Rose and there's no Motley Crue involved. I'm like, but damn, that was good. So, and then I went into it further. Like I said, I was kind of surprised that Drake is involved in this like verbal battle, but and then claiming that, he's being bought. But to be honest, I think it's the opposite. I think it's just a damn good song and people like it. If AJ could like it, there must be a lot of people that like it, like in that world of, music taste, right? You're one of them, Dave. And, I got to admit, man, it's pretty good. So, you know what? Listen, Drake can say what he wants, but you know what? Drake and Conor are pretty much in the same, stew pot right now. They're sizzling. So let's think about it. Drake used to support Conor. Conor used to support Drake. And right now, man, they're not looking too good. So all to say is that I think Kendrick has a pretty damn good song. I think it's legit. And I think he, you can bash it all you want by saying he has bots and all that kind of stuff. Don't waste your time, man. Just go out and make something good. That's AJ talk.
So you're telling Conor to get into the octagon and get something done so people, forget about his out of the cage problems, because he was recently ran into some big trouble after he lost a civil lawsuit in Ireland to a woman who accused him of rape. And he lost that lawsuit. So he's not going to prison. This was a civil suit, and he is now ordered to pay her about 250,000 euro. And
right.
The Proper 12 whiskey has dropped him as a spokesman and will no longer be using him. And a video game developer, IO Interactive, also ended their collaboration with Conor here, according to Associated Press. He was playing the role of a fighter in the game Hitman. So he's being dropped from a couple of big deals. The Proper 12 thing is pretty massive. This is being taken seriously. His wife or girlfriend, the mother of his children, I don't know if they're married or what, his partner, she has come out staunchly defending him on Instagram, basically saying, I'm not going to read her whole statement because it's long and whatever. But she basically said, this woman is a liar, and I don't believe her, and I believe Conor, and he was unfaithful, but he didn't force himself, and it was consensual, like he says.
But it's about 6 years ago, eh, Dave?
6 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time. I mean,
so she is standing by him. The companies are not. And I
good
wonder
point,
what
Johnny.
the UFC will do.
Nothing.
Probably nothing. Given what we know from Dana and just how they operate, he's like, let the court decide, and the court decided, and he's not in jail, so he could fight. He's just got to pay the thing, you know? I think the UFC is just going to go, whatever, business as usual. Which, you know,
It'll just
I don't know, man. It's not
Dave.
a
It's
good
a tough
look.
one, man.
It's really not a good look. When a court is saying, yeah, you did
Yeah, but
this and you got to pay here, that's not good. It's really not.
Well, we got to look at it from 2 points. It's a civil lawsuit, right? And it's not a criminal, so he hasn't been criminally tried.
Right.
You know, it's
but
a civil.
It's
and
harder.
civil is
I think it's harder to convict criminally. on
it
something
is
like
harder to
that.
convict, but with the thing is that, like, I'm not saying I'm on both sides of the fence here.
You're not an
I think
expert
if
in
an
Irish
action-
law either, AJ.
I'm not. Well, Irish whiskey maybe, but I'm going to tell you something. You know, there's one thing for sure is that there's a lot of, like, I'm looking at a lot of feedback from this case and people that were present, including his wife and this whole case and everything.
She was not
I mean,
present when this incident
she
took place.
she was present in his life and all this, but there was other
Right.
people present. There's like CCTVs, like video footage and all this kind of stuff that is kind of like makes it questionable. The fact that she was married and she was on a
If-
bender for 3 days.
AJ, that's
wait,
what
hold on a
his
sec.
wife is saying. That is what Connor's wife is saying. You're taking stuff
Yeah,
from her Instagram, which is the
Wha-
defense of
I'm-
Connor because she's defending Connor, and
She
you're
is, she
choosing
is.
to as well in this moment.
I'm not choosing.
Well, you are kind
but
of
we
making
gotta-
that
we gotta
choice
look
a
at it
little bit. It's tough to. It's
But
a
we gotta
tough
look-
choice you're making here to defend the guy. I'm saying, you're making some excuses here, dude.
If it was criminal,
You're making a couple
no,
excuses
I'm not making
here.
no excuses. I'm just looking at. Listen, man, I'm just looking at it as that it's a civil court case, and that's the thing. Johnny Depp was in the same thing in the UK. He went into civil, and then when he came to the United States and went criminal, it opened up like an onion, and she looked like crap, literally, like shitting on the bed. crap.
I would be
You know,
careful on that too, AJ.
I know, dude. I know. But what I'm trying to say is that it needs to go into a criminal
I don't
component.
think so.
And
I don't know. I mean,
think so.
maybe it does.
I think so.
Maybe it does.
Yeah,
Because
I
if
think
this
so.
is something that he is doing and a court is finding him guilty of, you know,
he needs to be like shadow banned, like you said, man. Like, you know, he's got to be
criminal
banned.
he needs to be put away into prison if he's actually forcing himself on women. I think he needs to be put himself. You know, he
I
needs
mean,
to be
Connor
put in
agrees
jail.
too. Look,
Yeah.
I'm on that side of the fence. I think like if he is really responsible, you know, in the UK, like, you know, I have like friends that are like obviously in Ireland and in the
It's
UK,
very
and
tough.
they're like, you know,
It's very
Connor's
tough.
not very
It's
not
tough
very
to
well
deal
liked.
with, right? Because on the one hand, you have a court that goes, yes, he did this, and now he must pay money. And it's like 250,000. It's not.
It's nothing.
He's worth
It's
so
nothing.
much. It's not. It's nothing.
He's
to
closer
him,
to $1
really.
billion, Connor. Let's be honest.
He's
You know,
So it's not really gonna
Nothing,
hurt him.
man. It's chump change.
So then, and he's not facing prison time, and there doesn't seem to be a criminal charge that's going to be placed on him. So you go, it's a weird deal, and it's weird on him too, because he now is going to be walking
Hey, man,
around
it's
the
happened
world
to a lot of
with
celebrities,
this
man.
stink.
When you look at guys like Michael Jackson and that kind of stuff, let's not forget, man. There's like,
Yeah, but he's
when it's-
joined that group now, dude. He's
He
in the
has.
mix of guys where
I
you
agree.
go, ooh, this guy, I don't know. I wouldn't trust him around. You know what I mean? People
well,
that
that's
I
what I'm
love.
trying to say is that
You
but
don't
let's put it
trust
this
this
way,
guy
I'm just
around
saying-
people.
I agree with you. There's a possibility that it's true, but you
Seems
know,
like a
it
bad
needs to
guy.
be hard fact right now, and there's a lot of like ifs. But the thing is this, Dave, listen to me. If you have a lot of money and you're that like
Sure.
well known in the celebrity status, which
Sure.
Connor is, and Michael Jackson and like the Johnny Depp guys, and you know what, Jake Paul, you better be careful. But what I'm trying to say is,
Careful with the
things-
Michael Jackson stuff, or I will expose you, AJ.
hey, Michael Jackson, man, is my buddy.
What about your
Beat
past
it!
job? Do you want me to say
Volunteer
why?
basis.
Can I say
No,
why?
no, don't. You can't, because it's an organization that I volunteered for and helping kids that were sick and dying. AJ was there to help them. So
Yeah,
listen,
and sometimes wishes were granted And sometimes those wishes were to go see a certain celebrity who had a ranch with, a Ferris wheel and shit.
Ooh, Willy Wonka. But I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah, so maybe if you were part of a
That's what they
charity
called it.
organization that granted kids the wish of visiting a certain king of pop,
Listen, man.
you might also
did
be
the-
defending him because of the guilt.
Man, I'm telling you, no, I just think I thought, listen, if you want to get on the Michael Jackson thing, I think that was bullshit. That guy did a lot,
Okay,
or-
let's not get on that
but let's
because
not
that's
go there.
crazy.
But
talk.
I'm an
address it.
MJ fan. But all to say is
Cool.
this, Dave. Hear me out.
Are you going to
I think
defend
that-
Diddy next? Where's it going?
No, Diddy
oh,
is like,
Diddy,
I don't know
you're
what the hell
going.
Diddy's-
Okay, him because you
Yeah,
don't like
Diddy
his
is
music, so
like-
you're gonna bury him.
Well,
Cool.
he's got evidence of about
Alright.
200 to 300 pallets of baby oil still waiting for him at the port. But listen, I just think that it's a dangerous time when you have a lot of money. But there's a couple of things that some people in Ireland said. Look, you have a lot of people that don't like him in Ireland, and a lot of people that don't like him in the UK. But there's one thing that somebody said that was pretty interesting. They said, "Isn't it interesting? The minute that Conor says he wants to run for president, of Ireland, all of a sudden, man, he started to get attacked, and it kind of sounds something familiar, someone I know."
I don't
you
know,
know?
man. I read a
just
lot of
saying.
the details of the case. I saw this woman speak.
Yeah, but the people laughing in the
Dude.
background didn't help, dude.
The
know, I'm
detail,
just
the
saying.
details, man. The details and the accounts and everything. The story. It's, I don't know.
Hey, listen,
Doesn't seem good.
no, and
It's not
it's so it's hard to talk about because you know what? I wanna see Conor. I want to see Conor as the notorious, but in a proper way. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that interesting? It's proper
think it's
12, but in a
over.
proper way.
I think
I
it's
think that-
over.
Listen, we said that about Tyson. I think Johnny North brought it up earlier. Like he got himself into the same pot, man. And
Well, he went
later
to
on,
prison.
but we are in 2024 celebrating the guy and watching him fight, against Jake Paul. That's what I'm trying to say is that, sometimes somebody said it interesting. They said in the United States, a lot of people forgive combat sport athletes and athletes in general. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying if the guy is guilty for doing something that is absolutely atrocious, he should be jailed. And that should go to a criminal court. And really, if it's the opposite side where there's a lot of falsehoods based on someone's wealth and whatnot, then they should be jailed as well. I mean, you cannot allow people that are really abused, to be played with if someone is lying about a certain situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying is I think this should go to a criminal court. I think Conor should countersue, which I think he is going to do, and then he's got to bring this up into criminal charges.
Well, look,
you know?
if he's innocent, sure. If he's not guilty of this and he really isn't, and sure. But the facts are right now that he lost this court case. Right? The facts
he did.
are the facts, AJ, of you can have your theories and your defenses and whatever. And I
But it's
can
easy to lose in
believe what I
civil, dude.
want
It's
about
easy.
what happened because I don't know. We don't actually know all the details to a T, to a letter, whatever, right? Nevertheless, the fact of the matter is this. He lost the suit where he was being accused of something absolutely horrific. He was found guilty or whatever. He had to pay the money, guilty, liable, whatever it's called. He's not going to prison, but he's got to pay money because they found that the evidence found that, he did this thing. And you could buy it or not. Happy birthday, Antoinette. Antoinette checking in.
Happy
46
birthday,
months as a member.
Antoinette.
And Antoinette says, I am not buying it. I mean, that's fine.
Oh, see,
You
Antoinette,
cannot,
man.
you
she's-
can buy it or not.
see,
It's
Antoinette,
not a matter of buying it. The matter
me too, I'm a
is
bit on the
the
fence. on this,
public
man.
now, it is a fact in public record that he has been found guilty of this. And companies have dropped him from major sponsorship deals.
Which is crazy, but
So-
it,
I mean, is it crazy? If somebody
It's crazy
gets
in the sense that people.
I mean, that's what happens when you.
I know, dude, but
what?
like a lot of people jump the gun. Let's it's like I said, civil. All it takes is that a civil lawsuit. You could lose like this. Depends on who is like looking at it and saying, "Oh, I don't like him. I don't like Conor," and they know a bit about Conor and they know Conor's.
Sure, AJ, you can
antics
make
and
up these
stupidity.
theories about
But criminal's
revenge and
different.
money and
But
people
criminal is
trying to.
different.
Sure, but that's just a theory, man.
I know, man.
That's just your
But
theory.
for Conor, look, Conor has to. If he really is
But you don't
innocent,
know all the facts. And like the court case
No.
happened where they examined the facts and they found him guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
yeah, but
Your theories of like, well, maybe this happened or maybe that happened. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe. But it did go to court and he did lose. So there's obviously a pretty compelling case that goes against what you're saying. Whether or not it is correct is maybe
look,
up for
I'm
debate.
not. I'm not
but
supporting. I'm not supporting him at all. I'm just saying is that if he and his family,
you
want
want to see him fight again.
I want to see him fight, but I think the biggest fight he has now is his credibility. I think the
Yeah.
biggest fight he has is
Got no
to
credibility.
Well,
Nobody
that's the
believes in
problem.
this guy anymore. Nobody
I
believes
know.
he's a good person, good fighter, gonna show up for a fight. Like nobody believes anything about this guy. He is just a complete joke at this point. He's nonsense.
Well, listen,
He's
D
not
believes
real.
in
No
him.
one looks at him as a threat. People laugh him off. People don't even expect him to show up and fight. Like it's just he's become a complete joke.
Yeah, he's become a cartoon character. I agree with you on that.
It's
But
pathetic.
that's why.
It's
That's why,
pathetic
like
what
in
he's become, man.
2025.
I mean, good for him.
Listen.
He's super rich, but man, his reputation, his legacy.
Yeah, but we said the same thing about Tyson like way back. I'm just saying is that like, there's a lot of people on the other side of the fence of why Tyson was put in jail. I mean, there's a lot of theories, a lot of like conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes there's some truth into it, Like, Don King was no like, choir boy at the time, and Don King was like representing, I'm just saying a lot of like ifs about that guy, and he was losing money and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying with Conor right now, if in 2025, he better figure out a way to save face and save his family, save his career, save his everything he's worked for, because the guy is a success story. But you don't want to see success stories become this. If it's absolutely true, he deserves to be in jail. If it's absolutely false, then these people that are putting accusations just to make some coin should be put in jail. And that's what I'm saying, is in 2025, it's going to be a hard year for Conor. It's going to be a hell of a hard year. But I think the Conor story is not over yet.
I think everybody has an arc.
Yeah, at some point. It's true. You're right. But we saw that with John Jones too at certain points, right? We've seen that with a lot of like athletes.
I don't know. With John Jones, his arc is it hasn't dipped yet. He's still rising somehow. John Jones and Conor McGregor shouldn't be compared. John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. Conor McGregor is a guy who went on a run, made a lot of noise, and sold some pay-per-views.
Yeah, but he was
He's
up
a
there as one of the
gimmick
greatest
more than
fighters.
anything. Like he's not
Yeah.
gonna be remembered as a great fighter.
Look, a 2-title champion, man. He's brought like a
He
lot
had
of
like 2
Look,
years
he's done a
where
lot
he was
for the
sharp.
sport. He was.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he brought a lot to the sport, and we can't
Yeah.
deny it. But I'm just saying is that this guy went from like living in a van, literally, with creditors up his ass, with D to support him to get him through that. His first UFC fight was like less than $5,000,
Mhm.
not even enough to pay anybody. And now the guy's closer to like $1 billion in 2024. Sometimes when you rise with fame, there's a lot of demons that come with it, and it could be on both sides of the fence. So I'm just saying is that 2025 is going to be a very, very trying time for Conor. And you know what? I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon to say that this guy is done. I just think that if there's a lot of question marks and a lot of things that I've been seeing and a lot of things that people are saying. So I'm just gonna wait for it. I'm just gonna sit back, eat my popcorn, and watch this show. And it would be a shame to see like from rags to riches back to rags. Mind you, we saw that with Tyson, and he came back to riches. But anything could happen, dude. But
Conor
money does fuck
McGregor,
you up, dude.
give him Conor McGregor in 20 years, he'll be fighting again. He'll have some sort of exhibition match or MMA fight against the Rizzler, AJ. It'll be Conor against the Rizzler. Okay? I just want to say,
Rizzler.
AJ, you heard it here first, okay? From me, just so you personally heard it here first. The Rizzler is going to be the next Jake Paul, okay? He's going to change the face of combat sports. The Rizzler. Okay?
Rizzy.
I saw him on
Rizzy makes it
AEW
dizzy.
Wrestling last weekend. He was the most over guy on the whole show. He's a little child who does this a lot. The Rizzler.
I like that.
Yep.
Rizzy.
In 20 years, man, he'll be beating up Conor McGregor and John Jones. They'll be old men, and he'll be young and jacked, and he'll beat them up. He's like an 8-year-old kid.
Well, he
or
has to
something.
beat the greatest of all time right now. He has to beat Jake Paul. Let's be honest.
Well, in 20 years, Jake Paul will be old, and the Rizzler will be an adult, and the Rizzler will kick all their asses. The Rizzler, man, he's going to follow the Jake Paul steps to success and just beat up all the old guys. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see start training now, Rizzler. Start training
Make
now.
Rizzler great again.
The path to success is there, Rizzler. He's already halfway an AEW wrestler at this point. Unbelievable.
What a crazy time, man, for sports. Crazy. And there's so many changes happening with the UFC, too. Like, they're right at a point right now with ESPN and, there's Disney coming in and there's, all kinds of stuff that want to take, the UFC, into their hands. And with this Conor thing and, there's a lot going on, man. This is going to be a crazy year ending for the UFC.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to have some fun. We got UFC 310 next weekend.
It's going to be wild, man.
And is that the last show of the year? No.
It is, but is it?
No, it isn't.
Let's see.
We're ending the show
310.
with UFC Tampa, Kobe Covington versus Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah. You got a cough? Get Buckley.
Amanda
That's not
Ribas versus Mackenzie Dern in the co-main event, AJ.
Whoa. Sorry, I didn't see that. Let me just take a quick look there.
Get ready. That's UFC Tampa.
She's there? Ooh, Mackenzie.
That'll be the last show of the year for the UFC, December the 14th.
I can live with that.
December 14th, UFC Tampa. But next weekend, AJ, we're going to be doing the watch-along for UFC 310 live in Las Vegas. Alexandre Pantoja, the UFC flyweight champion in the main event, defending against Kai Asakura, who is a newcomer to the UFC. This will be his first fight in the UFC, a 21-4 MMA fighter from Japan, making his UFC debut here for the 125-pound title. This is a guy who fought at 135 pounds, and I don't know if he's ever fought at 125, or he used to fight at 125 early in his career, back in 2015 to 2017. He was fighting at 125, but he's been fighting at 135 since, and the UFC signed him, and they're so high on him that they're putting him in the main event. A 31-year-old Japanese prospect, I guess.
He's good, man.
21-4. Is he still a prospect if he's been fighting as a pro since 2012? He's 31 years old with a 21-4 record. That's a lot of pro fights. But they're giving him a title shot right off the bat. It's weird.
Well, look at his last fight. It was amazing. I mean, this kid is something. I really like this kid. He's 31 years old, but he's amazing, man. And if he wins, he'll be the very first ever Japanese UFC champion. I mean, this kid is the whole country is riding on his shoulders. It's going to be a tough fight, man, and it's going to be a very emotional fight if he wins. And even for the country of Japan, if they do it, man, it'll be amazing, man. I still remember the Prime Minister of Japan freaking out when he met George St. Pierre. All he wanted to do was meet his idol, which was George St. Pierre. They love fighting, man, in Japan. We remember the Pride days, And then what they deserve a champion in Japan.
It would be cool to see a Japanese champion in the UFC. Have we ever had one?
Never. Would be the first time, dude. Think
That's
about it. It's never
nuts.
happened.
Considering the history of great Japanese fighters in MMA and the tradition in Japan of MMA,
Crazy.
you would think that there would have been one Japanese champion in the UFC, but there never has been. Okami
guys
got
like
a title shot
Sakuraba.
against Anderson Silva, right? Yushin Okami. Kyoji Horiguchi got a title shot against Demetrius Johnson. Didn't win. They've come close, but they haven't won the title. So this would be the first in the modern era to win a UFC championship for Japan, Kai Asakura, against Alexandre Pantoja next weekend. But to me, the real main events are like the undercard.
Yeah.
We've got
That's
some
gonna be
really good
crazy.
fights on the undercard, man.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
there are fights on the prelims that I'm more excited than the main event. Like, I'll give you an example. So the main event is Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. Okay, I'm not that familiar with, the main event of the prelims, the TV prelims, the last fight before they go to pay-per-view, is Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith. Two guys that fought John Jones for the light heavyweight title. That's a very cool light heavyweight fight. I'm more excited for that than the actual main event of this card. I'm more excited for the co-main event, obviously. I think the co-main event is the real main event. It's Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Garry, two undefeated welterweight phenoms on the rise, with the winner getting a guaranteed title shot against Bilal Muhammad. This could be an interim title fight, but for some reason, it's just number one contender type deal. Shavkat versus Ian Machado Garry. I can't wait. Shavkat fights now, for me, are massive. Anytime Shavkat fights, it's a really big deal. Shavkat has been a big deal for a while now. Ever since, I'd say, his Neil Magny fight, he opened up his UFC career with a submission win over Alex Oliveira. Then he beat Michel Praceres. Then he knocked by submission. Then he knocked out Carlston Harris. And then you're like, oh, who is this guy? He is crushing people. Then they put him up against Neil Magny, and you go, let's see what he can do against a legit top 15 guy. And he smoked Neil Magny. Submitted him in the second round. You go, oh, okay. Then he fought Jeff Neal, and that was another step up in competition. You go, oh, what's he going to do here? Submits Jeff Neal. And then they step him up even more, and he fights Wonder Boy. And you go, ooh, this is cool. What's he going to do here? Smashes Wonder Boy, taps him out in the second round. He's not only beating people, he's finishing people. He's knocking them out and mostly submitting them. Of his 6 UFC fights, Shavkat Rakhmonov has 5 submissions and 1 knockout, with only one of those 6 fights going past the second round. That was with Jeff Neal, where he tapped him out with a rear naked choke in the third. And Neal missed weight for that fight, so, maybe a little advantage going into there for Neal. And Shavkat still finished him. 18-0, 30 years old, from Kazakhstan. This guy is the man. We've been saying it for years. It's been a few years now where we've been telling you this guy. I'd say since about 2021, 2022, 2-3 years now where you go,
yeah,
this guy is the best guy. Every performance you go, he's the best guy. There's nobody better than him at welterweight.
He's coming. That's
There's
for sure.
nobody better.
Yeah.
And then Ian Machado Garry has looked pretty damn good too. He's also undefeated, 27 years old. He's fought a bunch in the UFC. He's fought more somehow than Shavkat. He's got 8 fights in the UFC, but he's won some by decision. The last one, though, over Michael Venom Page was really impressive because Michael Page in his first fight looked amazing. And then the fight with Garry, he looked just kind of regular, and Garry just totally neutralized him. But he, beat him by decision. He beat Jeff Neal by split decision. He beat Neil Magny by decision. He's been a little less impressive than Shavkat because he's not finishing at the same rate. He's not got 100% finish rate like Shavkat. But he's impressive. But I feel like at 27 years old, his game is it's like they're rushing him to the top. I feel like his game is a little underdeveloped for the top 5 of the division. I don't think he's like in Shavkat's league, and I think it's going to be clear when they fight. I think in 3 years, when Ian Machado Garry is Shavkat's age, when he's 30 and Shavkat is 33, totally different fight. Totally different fight. But 30-year-old Shavkat against 27-year-old Ian Garry, you go, I don't think this kid's got enough experience and enough kind of game to deal with what Shavkat is going to bring to him, because Shavkat is elite of elite. He's like Hall of Fame level elite, I think. I think he wins the championship and goes on a run where no one really touches him. Until maybe in 3 years when Machado Garry comes back and, this could be a fight where you go, ooh, Shavkat smokes him, and then 3 years later it's a rematch and Shavkat's been champion, and you go, okay, it's a different fight now. I could see this happening, right? If Garry stays on the right path. Sometimes a loss when you're undefeated can screw you. Mentally, whatever. It's a very good fight, though. It's very good. But to me, I don't know about you, AJ, but to me, a Shavkat fight is a slam dunk. I feel like every time he goes in there, he's winning, and he's winning by a lot. He's ahead of the competition by quite a bit. I feel like he's the best welterweight by several steps. I think he's number 1, and there isn't a number 2, 3, 4, or 5. And if you really start the top 10, it's 6, 7, 8, 9. There's just different levels of Shavkat. You know what I'm saying? He's levels above guys. I think he's levels above Leon and Bilal.
Yeah. I agree with you. And not only that, he has that marketability. And that's something that is driving a lot of people to know who this guy is. He kind of looks like what Khabib was with that aura, the hat, everything. And then you look at him and you're like, the first thing you think about is Genghis Khan. Every time I see him, I think of Genghis Khan. I'm like, this guy would be definitely part of the Genghis Khan, group. But he's really good. He's really good as a fighter. He is so calm and collective. The guy is something. And I agree with you. The Ian Garry and Shavkat could be something that we've seen with Volkanovski and Max Holloway. That kind of stuff going back and forth for a while. But something about this Shavkat, man, there's something about him. Conor had this, and the next big selling item is going to be Shavkat's hat. I mean, this guy is the future. And you said it a long time ago. Yeah, he was just a rising star in the making, kind of under the radar in the beginning. But then when you saw him fight, you realize that this guy, man, is so well-rounded and extremely ice cold dangerous. It's very impressive. And he's 30 years old. He's just about to walk into his prime. And you're right, man. It's going to be hard for the next couple of years, to beat a guy like Shavkat. He's right there, man. He's knocking on the door, and he's going to take the belt.
I think so. I think the fight would have happened this year had Bilal been healthy, and I think he would have been champion. We made predictions, I guess, at the beginning of this year, maybe the end of last year.
Yeah, we did.
You remember the predictions? We make championship predictions every year on the show. We all predicted Shavkat Rakhmonov to finish this year as world champion, and he's not going to.
But he should have been. He was so close,
Yeah.
But it won't happen in 2024, but it definitely will happen in 2025. And it's hard to say that you have to be so confident about a fighter, but that guy, man, it's kind of like Khabib, man. When Khabib came in, it was damn. I mean, his chances of losing is going to be the fact that he slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah, you can see Khabib coming a mile away. Several fights in, you're like, or several fights out from his championship shot. You're like, well, this guy's the best. What are we waiting for?
Who is this guy? Who is this guy, and where does he come from?
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Shavkat
you know,
seems
and
like the same thing. He's got a very Khabib vibe.
Yeah,
more
big
than
time.
like a lot of the other guys. It's like slightly different, because he's from Kazakhstan. He's not from Dagestan. It's a different region. He's got a different vibe to him. Cyril Gann is fighting Alexander Volkov on the card next weekend on pay-per-view.
That is sick.
It's crazy. Bryce
It's
Mitchell
crazy,
against Kron Gracie.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So the card next weekend is fantastic. Movsar Evloev against Aljamain Sterling is on the prelims. Aljamain Sterling is on a prelim. TV prelims. Damn.
Man.
They're doing the Chris
crazy.
Weidman versus Eric Anders fight on the Fight Pass prelims. Clay
That's
Guida is
sick.
fighting Chase Hooper. Ooh, that's crazy. They're doing the old man versus the child. Chase Hooper is the kid there, the Zuckerberg guy.
Yeah,
that you like
the
there,
Zuckerberg kid.
And he's
against
fighting Clay Guida, the oldest man in the UFC. I don't think he is, but he's close.
I
He's
think he
42.
has the most. I think he has the most fights. He's like 59 or 60 fights. This guy's up there, man. That
Clay
shows you the
Guida-
career of Clay Guida.
Clay
One of the
Guida
best
is
ever.
42 years old. He has a 38-24 record. So that is
24,
what?
okay.
62
I knew it was
fights?
up there. Yeah, I knew it was up there, man. Crazy.
Wait, is that right? Yeah, 60.
I thought he had around the 60 mark,
62
insane,
fights, man. So this will be his 63rd fight. Okay? This will be his 63rd fight. He's 42 years old. His opponent is 25 years old, and this will be his 19th fight.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
He's
a
impressive, that
42-year-old
kid, man.
man is fighting a 25-year-old man in the UFC next weekend. Just that alone is kind of funny. And the 42-year-old man happens to be UFC legend Clay the Carpenter Guida. And the
But isn't
25-year-old man happens to look about 15.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a child too. It's really funny. That matchup is hilarious. That's just a joke, I think. I hope Guida beats the shit out of him. I think he might.
He's pretty good, Hooper, man. Don't kid yourself. His grappling is awesome, man.
Yeah, but is it as good as Clay Guida's?
It's up there, dude. It's
I
up
don't
there,
think
man.
it's as good as Guida's. I'm not
Well,
sure,
Guida
man.
has the
Guida's a good
experience.
wrestler.
Yeah. Like he
That's
comes
a
out
fun
heavy,
fight. That's a
but,
really fun
it's-
fight.
But there's a lot of wear and tear on Clay, man. It's been a long career.
Can I make a
You
bet?
know? Make it.
Fred is going to put Clay Guida on his parlay next weekend.
You think so?
Oh, he always takes the old guy over the young guy. He always picks that on his part. Like the legends like Guida and Jim Miller. He loves putting guys like that in his parlay. I bet you. Watch, next week on the show, he's going to put Guida on his parlay when we do parlays for
Against
UFC
the Facebook
310.
kid.
It's going to
Well,
happen.
Good for him,
So
man.
that fight next weekend, we're gonna do the watch along for that. That'll be fun. This weekend, I've got WWE Survivor Series War Games. We're gonna preview that tomorrow night with Johnny North, and then we'll do the post show on Saturday night for War Games. That'll be fun.
Hey,
Solo
I think Tom
Sikoa,
Aspinall's on.
Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu, Bronson Reed in a
fuck you.
2-ring double cage match, War Games versus Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk. I mean, come on. That's fun. Saturday night in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. How about it?
Home of a lot of weed.
Weed is everywhere. All right. We will be back. I will be back all this weekend. Survivor Series weekend. I'll preview Survivor Series tomorrow night. That'll be fun. AJ, I'm proud of you. You learned about Kendrick. You behaved yourself in the Conor talk for the most part. You weren't too inflammatory tonight. You did a good job tonight. Your internet held together. There was one glitch at a point, I think, but overall, you did well. So congratulations to you. Happy Thanksgiving to all our viewers in the United States. Shout out to everybody watching on Rumble. I see you, Jerry G69.
Rumble.
I see you, Q the
Jerry.
Bella 86. Shout out to you.
Ooh, I like Bella.
Thank you for watching over on Rumble. Thank you for watching over on YouTube as well. Antoinette, Johnny North, my man.
Happy birthday, Antoinette.
Happy birthday, Antoinette. Simon Feck.
Simon
Haven't
Feck.
seen him. I don't know. I saw the name there. Jacob Fatu.
Nice.
I
Well-
don't think it's the real Jacob Fatu, but if it is, we love you
Jacob
too.
Fatu to
And
you too.
Angelo Contagonis, of course, my main man, Angelo out in
Oh.
Laval. Shout out to you,
And
my
there's
friend.
a peeping Tom there. Tom Aspinall's on too.
Oh, Tom Aspinall is on.
Tom, don't worry, you're gonna get your shot, bud. The future is yours. Remember what I said. The future is yours. Look at that cupcake, Antoinette.
Happy birthday,
bon
Antoinette.
fête, as they say in
Great
Quebec.
supporter of the
Asti.
Ringside Report Network over at join.ringsidereport.net,
Reds out of strip
join.ringsidereport.net,
joint.
or membership.ringsidereport.net to support the channel. And that's it. Fred will be back with us next week for UFC 310 weekend right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Shit.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net